The Benetti 125 Fast. One of the most popular models produced by one of the world's most popular yacht builders. When I heard that a 2017 model called Inspiration had become available for sale, I asked videographer and producer Maxime Forgin to fly over to the Bahamas to film the yacht and to meet the captain, and also to take a drive to Pompano Beach to meet the broker representing the yacht for sale, Bob Fritsky, one of the most knowledgeable and experienced brokers of Benetti yachts on the planet.
Benetti made a huge leap forward, the Benetti 125. They took a huge technological leap forward. They did three big things. The first thing they did was have a carbon fiber superstructure, which was extraordinary. Carbon fiber, as you know, is very expensive. And the carbon fiber adds a lot of strength while lowering weight, which means the draft of the boat can be less, the ceilings can be higher, and the windows can be bigger because of the strength. And the windows on the 125, and this one in particular, are enormous. That's one of the new technological advantages. The second one is a wave piercer, which is in the front of the boat. It's not a bulbous bow like you see on a displacement boat, because this boat does almost 23 knots. It's a sharp blade underneath the water, and what it does superbly is keep the boat nice and flat when it's running quickly and add length to the waterline, which makes it more efficient, because the 125 is very good on fuel economy. But the third thing, and the biggest thing that it does, and this is huge, is it has carbon fiber Rolls-Royce pods. And the pods do a lot of things. One of the things they do is add efficiency, because the pods are all the way back in the stern of the boat and the propellers face forward. By facing forward, all the water that they hit is 100% water. In a normal boat, you have a shaft, you have a strut, and the propeller is turning and it's getting bubbles that are hitting, coming off the water coming off the shaft and the strut. So maybe it's 85% efficient. The propellers facing forward to give you 100% water, so it's 15% more efficient just for that. But the pods also rotate independently 35 degrees each, making the boat very maneuverable.
In terms of maneuverability, you can put this boat in a lot of unique positions. As opposed to a conventional boat, your lateral control moving onto and off a dock is extremely great. Walking the boat in terms of what you're used to with a conventional boat, this, you point the pod the direction you want to go and start dragging the stern that way. Controlling your forward and aft movement with the other one aligned midships, and then work your bow over with the bow thruster. It's a lot more comfortable putting this boat into tighter slips, tighter positions than you would with a conventional drive boat.
The Benetti 125 packaging is extraordinary because the Rolls-Royce pods is such. Now work with me here. We start in the stern and there's a small beach club, which gives you a great place to store things and have people come and visit the boat from their tender. And the next thing is the engine room in the back of the boat, which is enormous. You literally can walk around the generator, walk both sides of the engines. It's enormous. Then the next thing going forward is a full beam garage. And in most yachts, that's where the engine room would be. But in this case, you have a full beam tender, which is a 5.65 Williams diesel tender, and room for 2 jet skis, each having their own crane. That's extraordinary in a 125-foot boat. But even more importantly than all that space and all the equipment that you can have inside is the fact that that garage becomes a buffer between the guest cabins and the engine room, so it's much more quiet. It's amazing how quiet it is in the engine rooms when the engines are on, and normally the guest cabins are right next to the engine room.
The ability to carry all of our toys in the garage without the need to have the chase boat with us allows us, to show guests a great time, especially if half the group is off on the tender fishing, spearfishing, diving, anything like that. There's always a way for guests to enjoy themselves. We have a Williams tender on board, 2 Sea-Doo Sparks, Sea Bobs, stand-up paddle boards, E-foils. So once we open up the beach club, it adds an additional 20 feet to the aft of the boat and allows us to really entertain guests outside.
But what makes Inspiration different to other Benetti 125s? Bob shared some interesting insights into the owner of the yachts.
I have to tell you that this particular Benetti was built by a man that I think he would even describe himself as totally compulsive. This boat, down to its most minor detail, is completely and totally custom. And I'll give you many examples of that. One would be, for example, that the light switches, which would normally be plastic and chrome plated, are all stainless steel. Or the thickness of the glass in the shower. Or the furniture, the exterior furniture. Benetti gave us an allowance of about 30,000 euros. We spent that on 2 chairs. We bought the best equipment, Glenn Peter machine made in Denmark. You probably don't know the brand because it is obscenely expensive. Onyx in the bar, onyx in the bathrooms, the silk carpets from China on the floors. The boat is magnificently specced out, and then the options are extraordinary. The boat is LY3, meaning it can be chartered in the Med, and then it has 2 balconies in the master stateroom, not 1, 2. Now I built 8 of these, and only 2 of them had 2 balconies, 1 in port, 1 in starboard. And what's extraordinary about the balconies, which were a very expensive option, is that your wife wakes up in the morning, her hair's on fire, her makeup's coming down her cheek. She doesn't want to see anybody, but she wants to be outside. She can walk over and push 1 button, and the entire balcony opens up like a transformer. 6 feet of teak comes out from the side of the boat. The top window lifts, so you have a little cover from the sun, and even the handrails come up automatically. So she has to call no crew member. She can push 1 button and have a balcony on the private side of the boat. Because there's 2, she can pick whatever side works best for her. Then another really big thing that the client did, he wanted a gym. And there wasn't room for a gym on the 125, at least the standard version. So we took a look at the boat and we saw that there was a stairway in the galley which went up to a pantry on the upper deck. And that stairway was only feet from the central stairway, which the crew could use anyway. So what did we do? We took out that stairway. We put in extra refrigeration, and then we put a gym upstairs with an enormous window and a television. I can't tell you how much that adds to the boat, and this is a very successful charter boat, and one of the reasons it's a very successful charter boat is the gym. It adds a lot.
The owner of Inspiration has spent quite a bit of time ensuring that the boat has been maintained to a very high standard. Between the deck crew and our engineer on board, we're well on top of all of our preventative maintenance. If a problem arises, we have yet to encounter a problem that we have not been able to, resolve on board. As of July 2021, we have completed our 5-year survey. So we're up to date on RENA classification survey. We'll be finishing our 2022 survey before the end of August. So everything class, flag is in date and in range.
With remarkable maneuverability, an intelligent layout, sumptuous interiors and maintained to the highest of standards, you can do no better than contact Bob Fritsky for more information about Inspiration. In fact, we'll leave the last word to him.
We had a client who built a very special boat in Italy. It was brand new. They'd never had a chance to sea trial it. They were very excited about it. They took delivery of the boat here in America. And the first time they took it out, they knew it wasn't going to be their boat because it was so loud and of the vibration. They took a look at one of my 125s, and before they looked at the specifications, before they looked at anything, they looked at me and they said, "Bob, we have to take this boat out and we have to see if it has good sound and good vibration." And since they were lovely people, that's what we did. And they were astounded and they bought the boat. The boat is so quiet and so free of vibration that you can sit in the salon at 23 knots, have no idea you're doing 23 knots, and talk in a normal level, just as I'm talking right now. It's really wonderful.